In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the steering rack bellow boots on this Chevy Silverado. These are going to be located behind the front wheels attached to the steering rack. Let's get into it. We're going to remove the front wheel. We want to take the center cap off. I'm just going to use a rag so I don't scratch the wheel using a straight blade screwdriver. There's a little notch right here. Just get in there and pop that out. Using a 22mm socket, take the lug nuts off. Remove the wheel. We're going to loosen up this jam nut. Use a 24mm wrench. Loosen that up. I'm going to use a wire brush. This is a little bit rusty. If yours is fine, you can skip this step. Just clean up some of the rust. Use a little rust penetrant on the threads. Using a 21mm socket, take this nut off. I'm going to take a long pry bar and just get underneath where the shock is. We'll just pry down while we take the nut off. There we go. If that didn't work, you can put a wrench on here and just use a ratchet wrench. Take that off. Pull that out. Now we're going to separate the tie rod from the knuckle. I'm just going to use a hammer, give it a tap on the bottom. There is different front end tools you could use. You can use a puller that will attach up there and just push it out. But normally it comes out pretty easy. Now we're going to unscrew the tie rod and just count the threads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. So write that number down somewhere. I'm going to use some locking pliers. Just attach them right there. Using a 24mm socket, we're going to take the jam nut off. You can remove the locking pliers. I'm going to take this clamp off. Just use some hose clamp pliers. Take that off. Now underneath, we're going to take this clamp off. On the side here is where it's crimped together. I'm just going to use a long pick. Get in there. I'm going to move this around so you can see it. I'll just spread that apart. Once that's spread apart, that's where you're going to put the pick, in there, just like this. Just spread it. And once that's spread, you should be able to grab the bellow boot. And just pull it off. Just like that. Just a little bit of power steering fluid in there. Slide that off. I'm just going to use a little grease, just right where that little notch is. Just grease that up. This is just brake caliper grease. You could use silicone if you want. Take the bellow boot, just slide it over. I'm going to go past that little area right there. I'm going to push it onto the rack. Slide this over. That's good. We're going to use a wire tie to secure it. If the old clamp is still usable, you could use that, but you normally need special tools for that. Yes, you can just use the wire tie and tighten it up. It's all the way around. I'll just tighten this up a little more and then trim the excess. Just grab the boot and we want to slide it to where that slot is. That's good, right there. I'm going to take the clamp and install the clamp. If you need to, needle nose pliers works as well. And that's good. That looks good. Put the jam nut on. I take the outer tie rod and get that started. Make sure you count your threads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Just go to whatever that number is that you wrote down. Move the jam nut down. And get this lined up in the knuckle. Push that down. Now put the nut on. Then we're going to use the pry bar underneath the shock. Pry this down so the stud doesn't spin. Snug that down. We're going to torque this to 44 foot-pounds. Then you want to put the cotter pin in. If the castle nut's not lined up with the cotter pin, you want to tighten it a little more. You never want to loosen it. So even though you already torqued it, just go a little tighter until that lines up. That's good right there. I'll take the cotter pin, go through the hole, just use some side cutters. And I'm just going to leave, I'm not going to have it tight in there, I'm just going to leave it a little bit loose. That way, if there's any rust buildup, it's not going to seize it in there. And then just trim the excess. There we go. That's good. Now we're going to tighten down the jam nut. Snug that down good. If you have a torque wrench that you can get on there, you want to torque that to 55 foot-pounds. Now install the wheel. Put the lug nuts on. Snug those down. Now we're going to torque the lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Just go around again, double check. Take the center cap. On the back, there's a little picture of a valve stem. You want to line that up with the valve stem. Lock it down. That was a quick and easy job. Now you're good to go. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.